Sportscast SA presents Game On. Game On. South Australians' destination for everything sports. Local, national, and international sports. AFL football, soccer, basketball, golf, baseball, tennis, cricket, and any other sports played in this wide world. And we're going to have a blast doing it. So sit back, relax, and let's do this thing. Welcome to Game On.
Welcome to Game On. My name's Pete, joined by Malcolm again, and today we're going to do our South Australian top 5 sporting moments with a few honourable mentions there, and we might start off with that as well. Honourable mentions go to the Sturt Football Club's wheelchair team winning 3 premierships in a row.
Yeah, beat Woodville West Torrens in the final in a really close game, which certainly could have gone either way. And that was a seesawing game.
Yes.
West Torrens were in front early. I commentated it, so I was certainly there.
Yep.
And it was a great game. And look, I hope it grows, because at the moment it's the 4 clubs. It's Sturt, Woodville West Torrens, Nord and Central. So hopefully it grows in the next few years. It did this year that we did have a reserve side of it as well. We called it development or whatever, in terms of that way.
Yep.
And it was a little bit more social.
Yes.
And it was a bit more for everyone to be involved, in terms of remembering the disability side there, not being quite as competitive on that. So I think we've got that about right.
Yep.
Also bringing in the points side of it, going in line with a bit more of how it's run interstate. And so I think we're moving in the right direction in a lot of ways, and hopefully the sport continues to grow.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Absolutely. It's a space that is going to continue to grow, a little bit like the women's game. The wheelchair or the disability side of things, it looks like it's going to go from strength to strength. In doing a little bit of research, obviously knowing you and knowing that you're pretty passionate about it, the VFL have got their own competition, so we might start to see a bit of a interstate.
There was an interstate carnival this year. South Australia were a bit unlucky not to make the final, where Vic beat WA in the final. It certainly is growing, and congratulations to Smythe and Maddie from Sturt, who made the All-Australian side at the end of it.
Yep.
So, yeah, we're certainly moving in the right direction, and hopefully it continues to grow.
Absolutely. All right, and another honourable mention, we've got 3 or 4 of them, so we'll get through them reasonably quickly. But Adelaide United young gun Nesta Irakundu signs for a record transfer.
Yeah, it was pretty incredible, Barcelona. Look, he's got a lot of potential.
But he does have a little bit to learn still, though.
Yeah, there's a bit of growing up to go, yeah.
But he is only 17.
Yeah.
Let's
remember that.
Try and put that in perspective. And really was probably a little bit unlucky not to make our original top 5. But, we have to add that as an honourable mention. Another honourable mention, mate, is the Redbacks comeback against Queensland in the Sheffield Shield.
Yeah, look, that was pretty incredible. It looked like it was just meandering along the predictable Queensland get it, chasing.
Well, we were doing an episode at the time, yeah.
I did get a little bit more excited as we took a couple of wickets.
Yep.
And I was might have been in the car park picking my son up from his work at Woolies at Parry Hills, and we had to be very quiet as we got the last wicket. But it may have been a bit louder down inside as Buckingham bowled Khawaja to get us home.
And it nipped back beautifully, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a beautiful ball.
It was. All right, and to finish us off on some honourable mentions in our South Australian top 5 is Curtis Mead making his MLB debut for the Tampa Bay Rays and had a reasonably successful start to his career.
Yeah, look, he has, and certainly showing he was very well regarded here, and thought, hey, he's got a chance of making it.
Yep.
But yeah, he's certainly around the mark, and hopefully going from strength to strength.
Obviously making a base hit in his first MLB game, and also scoring a home run as well for the Tampa Bay Rays. So we wish him the best. All right, mate, we're going to take a very, very quick break. When we come back, our top 5 South Australian sporting moments.
listening to the Game On Podcast. We'll be right back after this short break.
We kick off with number 5 on our top 5 South Australian moments for 2023.
I just want to quickly go back because, apologies, brain thing. Apologies to Matt Gregory, who was the other South Australian with Jamie Smythe, who made the All-Australian side and the wheelchair side of it.
Absolutely.
And I would have been correctly told off if I hadn't straightened that out. So,
fair call. All right, we move on with our top 5 South Australian moments. And at number 5, we've got the Live Golf arriving at Grange.
This is going all the way. Chase Koepka, 12. The watering hole, he's posing.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Chase Koepka.
Yeah.
Oh!
There it is! There it is! We promised you an ace on 12, and Chase Koepka has delivered! That's one of the great moments in Live Golf history. Mystic Fox is right again.
Yeah, it certainly captured the state. Look, I think, a few of us who aren't golfing people, might be all right. Bang the party hole, and hey, this is pretty unreal. And I think it showed already that I think it's sold out pretty quickly for this year. How much it captured the market as non-golfing people like myself, and huge success. And well done to Peter Malcom and the South Australian government in that way with both that and Gather Round.
Yes,
and hopefully it's just going to go from strength to strength.
Grange was an obvious choice. Greg Norman obviously heading up the Live Tour, had his first PGA victory there. The Grange Golf Course, an absolute beautiful golf course to be played, relatively central to most things in Adelaide. The party hole, like you said, went off when the hole-in-one was hit, and I think that we did speak with Craig about the golf and slight changes this year to the course and some of the holes, but as a whole, you're right, the South Australian government took the bit between the teeth and went, we're going to take this event and take it to the next level. Again, with relatively small amounts of lead-up time, and they turned this event into one of the sporting highlights, not only here in South Australia, but Australia for the year.
Oh, for mine, it was a big risk too. I think the supercars coming back and all that, that's an obvious highlight as well. But I think we all thought, well, it never should have gone. That was just dumb by that it had left.
Yes.
So getting it back was a no-brainer. Yes, it's been a success again, and well done there.
Yep.
But I think Live Golf, and then, hey, great call, well done.
Well, put South Australia on the international map. I mean, every man and his dog in the US, and I do listen to some of the podcasts from the US just to keep up with, the baseball and the tennis and the golf and bits and pieces like that. They were just going absolutely crazy how Australia could produce such a great result. And the crowds, that was the one thing that they were impressed with, is that we just turned out in flocks to attend the Live Golf event at Grange.
And I think we forget how vital tourism is, and that you do have to spend money to make money to get people to see South Australia. And, hey, that old Adelaide looks like a good place to visit, etc. And gave them a chance to plug Kangaroo Island. That was used pretty extensively in the adverts for overseas market and that's just smart. The wineries and all that side of thing, what we take for granted a bit in Adelaide, plug the hell out of it overseas. And
well, it became a week-long event where people would come a little bit earlier, visit the wineries, do some of the touristy things, play golf themselves.
Yes.
Then, Pro-Am Day, and then the actual main event turned into a week-long event, and you'd be happy as a state government. And really, South Australia are almost taking, I know we're talking South Australia here, but we're taking Melbourne's lead from about 20, 25 years ago, where they did have a lot of these sporting events and increased their tourism. It's certainly the right play, and I think the government at the moment have got it right.
Yep, couldn't agree more.
All right, we move on to number 4 in our top 5 South Australian events for 2022-23 in some respect, because they are split up over the course of the year or seasons. But the Adelaide Thunderbirds back on top of the table after a 10-year drought and a big win over the Sydney Swifts in an overtime.
And in overtime, yeah. I think it went down the crunch, could have gone either way, and then to get up in overtime.
Cross to Fraser, 8 seconds to score, or we go to extra time. Oh my God! The moment through Sterling. Here we go, folks. It's extra time. Cowsby to get things underway for the Swifts. Gee, she wants the win, doesn't she? Cardwell. Now she's got to return the favour, and she does just that. Do they use the clock? 1:45. Oh, Sterling!
Contact on the
Cardwell. Is she feeling the moment? Oh, she is! Well, has she just put it out of reach of the New South Wales Swifts?
Takes time off the clock.
Well, this goal will be monumental for the Adelaide Thunderbirds. They're playing around with it, and Lucy Austin, oh my goodness. Well, the siren goes, the drought is over. It's a decade in the waiting, and the Adelaide Thunderbirds are going to take the trophy back home to South Australia.
Congratulations to our 2023 Suncorp Super Netball champions.
And heard Nat Von Berto and that they went over for it and things like that. It did get netball, which had fallen away a little bit off the map. But, traditionally considered a strong netball state.
Very much so.
10 years in the wilderness, it was pretty important, I think, and hopefully gets us back in the game.
The flow-on effects from it.
Yeah.
It was great to see that a lot of the players, like you did mention there, did go over, or former players did go over for the grand final. I think it ranks up there, and we did talk about in our Australian top 10 sporting moments, we talked about the NRL grand final, sort of going down to the wire, the AFL grand final going down to the wire. And here you've got netball going overtime, literally overtime.
Extra
time.
Extra in terms of cut down to the wire, sort of the lingo, however we want to phrase it. So it was fantastic.
Yep.
And same thing then with the Strikers, as we're coming to next.
Absolutely. All right, we move on. Good segue into that one there. The Adelaide Strikers, WBBL, go back-to-back champions.
Yeah, not often we can say that as South Australians too. And look,
not in cricket.
Yeah,
cricketing terms either.
Gets the captain in Jonathan. Oh, stands, delivers beautifully. Tosses it up. Doesn't get all of it. Waiting underneath is Penner. Sounded good, but it's gone straight up. Adams, no! It goes over the top. It's 6 off her first for Hinkley.
Oh my God, I thought that was straight up again. It was going to be Barsby's. That was amazing.
She looks to. This time she doesn't get all of it. Underneath it is Barsby, who takes the catch. 6 and out for Hinkley.
Across her crease here, make sure she can reach this ball.
For the final. Doesn't have the distance. Mushungwe will track back, hold on to it, throw it in, and there it is. The Adelaide Strikers have gone back-to-back, but even bigger for them, they've gone back-to-back at their home crowd. The Adelaide Oval, in front of a magnificent crowd. A sea of blue can cheer in the celebrations.
It was interesting where it looked like we hadn't made enough runs, but they're planning. Talia McGrath's captaincy out there, and never panicked and thought, get Grace Harris out. We're in
half
this,
a chance,
and then Talia McGrath to get the 2 wickets and 3 balls. Hey, we're right in this, and just kept forcing the run rate up. I don't think Brisbane chased that smartly.
But they looked like they were in control of the game. That's probably what gets
too many dot balls.
Yeah,
that was the big thing. There was a bit of lack of ones. There was a bit of lack of planning, and kept us in it, and then took the risk and backed Amanda Wellington in with the last over, and delivered in the last over again. Again, fine line, as we know, fine line between pleasure and pain. With the ball could have gone for 6, caught on the line, and which would have got him up. And we get the chocolates, and it was good to be there.
That was going to be my next point, is that there were, and we did talk about it at the time, there were a few fielding errors from both teams that you thought, geez, is this going to cost a team? And I think there was one where the red player could have caught the ball and it spilled over the boundary, and then the 6 off of the Brisbane Heat player had come in and only faced one ball, and then the next ball,
hit the 6 the first ball and got caught in the boundary the second.
Yeah, so, it was absolutely amazing. And I think your point about McGrath not panicking in the situation and making them play a few dot balls was certainly integral to defending quite a low score. And like you, I was in the same boat going, I don't know if this is going to be enough, but played it very, very well.
Yeah, I was glad I went in the end because I only made the decision on the day and was sort of humming and hawing, and really glad I went in there that night. Yeah, was privileged to be there.
Absolutely, and that was the WBBL Strikers back-to-back win at number 3. At number 2, we've got the Adelaide Giants win after 43 years. They bring home the Claxton Shield, and the drought was broken against Perth.
Yeah, finally, 43 years.
That is a long time.
Grounded over to third. What a trap from Jake Bowie. Takes away a base hit. That's not an easy play in a huge moment.
Not an easy.
The base is clearing double. Got the Giants behind. To right field. Charging onto it is Reddick. It's a difficult play. Diving back and drops. The crowd erupts. Anthony Kirion's aboard.
Sometimes they
usually delivered one. Hard hit ball, and he's delivered another. Runner's going to go around second. Wingrove turning for 2. Kirion getting the wave around home. The relay's coming in. There's a play at the plate, and he slides in safe.
An assistance from the fence, and the ricochet may be his most magical moment yet.
And listen to this crowd. Swing and a miss, a big strikeout. Strikeout to end the inning. But in the air, Spence charging on, Kirion charging on. It's in foul territory. Kirion dives. He made the catch. Anthony Kirion, are you kidding me?
That is.
Vince Steensel gets him. 43 years of history. Watch with intent.
Swingers! The Adelaide Giants are the overall champions of 2023. Amazing scenes.
A championship, generations in the making. A 43-year wait is over. The Claxton Shield is coming back to South Australia.
Admittedly, look, I can't deny. While I still follow it, I'm not like I used to when it was at Nord.
Yep.
I religiously went to Nord, West Beach. Yeah, it doesn't capture me as much. Not quite as central enough personal line of thinking. I don't think it's a great venue either, especially compared to Nord.
Mm-hmm.
So that side of it. But it did capture on the last night, the packed. Yeah. As you would expect it to be packed.
Absolutely. Crowds were right down both sidelines.
Yeah.
And then what was quite pleasing for me and interesting is that behind the pitcher, the grass hill area, there was people sitting up there with their deck chairs, kids running around trying to catch fly balls. Absolutely amazing environment. And hats off to the Adelaide Giants in that, they have been in the wilderness for quite some time. And to come out and win after 43 years, I think it's just fantastic.
Don't get me wrong, I get it. Baseball needs its own home. So I understand that instead of getting out of Nord. So I get that. So
but there has been some opportunities mooted that there could be a city stadium that could be purpose-built.
Well, that would be great.
I think that would be fantastic, but I think you're going to need a little bit of private backing
money,
on that to make that happen. But, Adelaide's potentially getting another ice skating rink down at Marion. The same sort of group, I think, is involved with potentially getting baseball into the city as well. So who knows where that space is going to be, but obviously the home is at West Beach at the moment, and they have made it their home.
Yeah.
They won it last year. They're in a very good spot to win it again this year. So fingers crossed, after 43 years, it took them to win their next premiership or Claxton Shield. Hopefully it's back-to-back, and we're talking about them at this time next year.
I couldn't agree more, but at the moment, at least, it looks like we're up there as a team to beat again.
Yes.
Which probably hasn't been the way for a while. So, yeah, it's a great result last year, promising this year, and as I said, also just, even with Curtis Mead being picked up, and things like that, it seems like baseball is getting back to its prominence in the South Australian sporting.
Absolutely, landscape. Very, very good. All right, and to finish us off, our number one top 5 sporting moment, our number one moment, I don't think we could have argued on this anymore, and that is that Gather Round came to South Australia, played in South Australia this year, but the biggest thing was it was announced for 3 more years.
The AFL has officially locked in Gather Round to stay in Adelaide for 3 more years. South Australia has secured the Festival of Football until at least the end of 2026 after a hugely successful inaugural event over the weekend. More than 220,000 people attended matches over the past 4 days, including over 60,000 visitors flying in from interstate. Well, joining us now is a very happy South Australian Premier, Pete Malcom. Premier, good morning to you. You'd be getting used to a round of applause everywhere you go at the moment. Congratulations. South Australia was a brilliant host. What stood out for you from the weekend, and was it more successful than you even imagined?
I think the short answer to that, Barrett's, is way more successful than we hoped. All of the key KPIs that we set as a government around bums on seats on planes, overnight stays and accommodation, we shot the lights out in that regard. But honestly, I don't think I've been amongst so many people coming together so happy in a really long time. There was just something unique about it. I mean, when we think about footy, which, is a passion of mine and most South Australians, we experience it in our own little enclaves sometimes, but this was something quite unique where everyone was on top of each other, just celebrating our national game. I don't think I've experienced something quite as electric. So it was organic, and that certainly exceeded our expectations, and we're just wrapped that we've now got the chance to do it for the next 3 years. We can plan and prepare and accommodate even more visitors into the future.
Yeah, and just looking ahead, Premier, to those next 3 years for Gather Round, how significant is this event for Adelaide? What difference has it made in town and to South Australia as well?
Look, I mean, the economic stimulus figures that have been talked about from independent organisations have been extraordinary. The number that came out from one economic group yesterday was 85 million. I mean, it's just massive, Barrett. So everyone was absolutely heaving in the hospitality sense, which was actually our core objective as it started out, and then it's taken on a life of its own. But, we've got a big story to tell in South Australia at the moment. We've got an economic trajectory that we haven't really experienced for decades. The state has got a lot of optimism, and we want the rest of the country to pay attention to it, and this major event gives us an opportunity to have that platform. It's
really, ironically, almost what Victoria has every week. Let's not beat around the bush. It is the extended VFL comp. Finally, it was good to see another state get given some prominence. And, yeah, you had some Victorians really lukewarm, and they kept hearing from their mates who had come over, and yeah,
they're regretting it.
Showed in terms of how quickly the next side of it went. Look, I had hosted a lunch on the Friday. I had been told confidentially, and do not dare let this out, we've got it for another 2 years. And then, to Peter Malcom's credit, managed to get another year between Friday and Sunday. So, look, I think 3 more years, it's great. As I said to Tom Harley, it's a very important event to have in South Australia. Oh, why is that, Robert? Very important for rule book sales. So he did reply, "You're a bloody idiot." But yeah, so a bit of fun there with Hales. But
let's look at that. It is the most central location for most teams, which is a benefit really to everybody. the ability to be able to host games and turn them over relatively quickly with suburban grounds like Norwood and Mount Barker, and obviously they were trying to get something up in the Barossa this year, but looks like it might happen next year, maybe down at McLaren Vale, et cetera, et cetera. But the proximity to the city of not only, stadiums, hotels, yes, that is the same in most cities, but with Adelaide, it's 20 minutes to the hills, 20 minutes to the beach.
And that was a big part why Nord have kept that.
Yep.
They were complimentary. The AFL were complimentary in terms of that way. I thought Nord would get one, got told no, it'll be from a couple of people there that I always thought we'd get the two. So, Look, good news in that way. It is the obvious spot. Hopefully this continues to build and build. And look, even so after the game last year on the Sunday, Hawthorn GWS, to wander out the front of Nord Oval and watch the Collingwood St Kilda game with 3,000 to 5,000 people out the front of Nord Oval was sensational. Your atmosphere was incredible. As St Kilda made that comeback.
Yes.
Probably all the neutrals were barracking for St Kilda, and it was quite entertaining. And it just showed how it's kept. And the numbers at Elders Park, to be in there, because the people running the security are the same guys who run the SNFL, so you know them. And 7,000 to 10,000 people in there all the time. It topped at 15,000 people at one stage. It's just incredible. And it was great just to walk around, chat to people.
Well, it was a footy moment for everybody, wasn't it? There was no politics in it. There was
it was awesome.
No, we hate this team, we hate that team. It was a true festival of football, and it was held in the festival state.
And I went to Freo training at Nord, Sydney training at Hackney High at St Peter's, and Collingwood training at Unley, and it was the atmosphere at every ground was just awesome.
Well, you look at the AFL teams, like you just mentioned there, most of them aligned themselves with an SNFL club, made sure that they had their training on at an SNFL club, and the crowds at the clubs.
Well, I think they got 4,000 to 5,000 for Richmond's training at Glenelg.
Well, I reckon they had 3,000 to 5,000 only for Carlton's training
as well as
Collingwood. Yeah,
so it was just, as I said, but it was also a festive atmosphere. The atmosphere was just great. People just loved it. And, it was brilliant.
It had to be our number one, mate.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, our South Australian events for 2023, top 5, we had to put the Gather Round at number 1.
I think event-wise, it was the Australian number 1 event for the year. So hats off there, and we look forward to this year.
Absolutely. We talked about the Live Golf having a little bit of a short run-up. Well, they had a bit of a short run-up here with the 18 AFL teams lobbing into Adelaide and trying to sort that out and get everybody where they needed to go. I think, once again, hats off to the government in trying to produce an event that is world-class, and they did it and succeeded way better than any of our expectations.
Oh, no, loved it and really look forward. So we've got North Melbourne, Brisbane and Richmond St Kilda on the Sunday, which I think shows, again, sides were quite happy to play at Nord. Don't dare give me... Hawthorn loved it at Nord. Hawthorn could not have been more complimentary. So it'll be great to be at Pack Nord Oval again, and looking forward to it.
Absolutely. All right, mate, that wraps up our top 5 South Australian sporting moments for 2022/2023, but mainly 2023. Mate, thank you once again. Honourable mentions there. Obviously couldn't quite get them into our top 5, but we did give them a little bit of a mention as well.
Redbacks making the final against WA, but it was an agonising day to watch. I admit that. So, yes. It was great that we made a final, the Redbacks, but, geez, I'd love to win something.
Yep. All right, mate, we're going to finish up on that note. I thank you once again for your efforts with this podcast, and we might just try and squeeze in a bit of a cricket-only podcast maybe over the Christmas, New Year's.
Yeah, I think we probably can do that. Yep.
Christmas, New Year's period, obviously with the Boxing Day test and the New Year's test in Melbourne and Sydney. So we'll have a bit of a look at that one.
Yep.
All right, mate. As per usual, we promise to do better next time.
In this crazy world we live in, we all need the distraction. Enjoying the show? Like, rate, and subscribe. Hook up and connect with us on social media at Sportscast SA. We'll see you next time on Game On.